Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a hell of a month, I'll tell you what. Some of you guys are probably wondering where the hell I've been, or what I've been up to. So, you know how in some of my past videos, I was talking about how I haven't been feeling very well, and we thought it was probably like, thyroid issues and stuff like that. Well, anyway, I had quite a few incidences around September 24th, and I'm finally ready to talk about it because it's, I'm still in recovery from it. But I was walking around the street, and all of a sudden I got just really cold in my arm, my legs, and tingly, and hard to breathe in the chest and everything. Went to the hospital, thinking like a stroke or something like that, and so anyway, we went there, nothing. Sent me home, and the next morning it was even worse. I went back, and then they held me overnight for 3 nights there. I went through 9 different stroke-like symptoms. Okay, I sent my blood work, thank God, to my doctor up in Salt Lake, because the doctors here, they didn't seem too concerned over my blood work. Everything looked fine. My carbon monoxide level was a little higher than normal. Now, to the doctors here, they weren't too concerned over it because, it was like smoker level, but that was day 2 after I was in the hospital, so a lot of it got out of my blood system, and then we had a little bit on the oxygen. But I went through 9 different stroke symptoms, all the same thing. It was just like a valve being turned off. So I sent the blood work to my doctor up in Salt Lake. He looked at it. He's known me for 40 plus years. He's like, it's carbon monoxide poisoning. And it all starts making some more sense now. For like the last 6 months, I've been getting worse and worse, headaches and stuff like that. So when they released me from the hospital, I called the gas company to come out and check everything. Sure as shit, it was my stove. So the burner wasn't igniting correctly, and it was capturing carbon monoxide within the house. And my girl cooks a lot. She was getting headaches too, but I'm home more often, and where it's hot here, you don't really open up the windows and let everything out and freshen out everything. So you're just kind of circulating all that air back and forth. When the when the gas company came, he's like, oh well, it's in range, for acceptable safe, until he started messing with the stove, and then he's like, oh yeah, so we shut down the stove. I got a new stove and all that. Well, anyway, so that's what it was carbon monoxide poisoning. On top of that, the respirator that I bought when I was working on this car got a recall on it. Yeah, and they said do not use, it's not safe. So I've probably been breathing in like the chemicals and stuff working on my car also. So it's kind of compiled a little bit. And I forgot to mention that they ran 9 CAT scans, an MRI, EEG, I mean all sorts of just tests. Tons and tons of tests. Nothing. They couldn't find nothing. Like I said, my blood work, they said, oh, your cholesterol's high, but it was like 2 points over my total cholesterol. So, so I did buy a few different other things though. So I had to buy another oven. I'll show you my messy house. So I had to buy a new oven. But on the old oven, this burner was flaring up and it wasn't burning correct. And so when it was burning, it was putting off too much CO2, or not CO, yeah, no, CO, carbon monoxide. And it would stick. It would stay in the house and be recirculated in the air. So I bought, like I said, these new ones, these new carbon monoxide detectors you just plug in. Has the level right there, and it has for gas, CO gas, and it also says for propane, if there's a propane leak or anything like that. So I got them. you know. And then I bought some air purifiers. Look, it cost me a lot of money. This is all because I'm buying all this other stuff. Air purifier. That's really helped, you know, with, you know, clearing out the air and stuff too. You know, when you just don't think of this stuff. So these have worked pretty good. They go off every time she cooks. I got one right here and one upstairs. And I'll show you the messy room. Like I said, I've been sick, so everything's just kind of scattered here. But I ended up buying a PEMF mat, and what it does is it sends electrical. What is it? How do I explain? But it sends frequencies throughout your body to ground you, you know, back down to the earth and help you heal and everything. This has worked a lot for me. You can kind of control the temperature on it and everything. This one has like crystals. I don't know about the crystal thing, but the mat itself does work. You know, it comes with a little controller, everything like, and you can control the heat. You only sit on it or lay on it for about 20 minutes to ground you. It really soothes my stress, okay? I don't know how it works. It just does, at least for me. And then, of course, I bought it, this is to help with the stress too, because what's happening is my neck, when I get anxiety, it tightens up. So I lie on this. You know, this little thing. This is real cheap off of Amazon, but that kind of helps massage that neck down a little bit. And so I just lay on here, feel great, put on some just really good, nice music, rest my mind, and everything like that. This mat is $3,500. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of money. The only reason I bought it is because at the hyperbaric chamber, they had me sit on it and, you know, do therapy on it, and it worked for me. So I definitely bought it. Okay. So these are all the supplements I'm going through, and so I'm just gonna kind of just show them real quick. And these are all, they're not prescribed, but they're all from my doctor. These are all what my doctor told me to take. So, you know, NAC. Then this is actually magnesium glycinate. I was extremely low on magnesium. Then nitric oxide, grapeseed extract. I don't even know how to pronounce that. This is my B12. I've always taken my B12. I always like that. Some potassium. Of course, now I'm starting a probiotic and 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐯 Forte. This is a really good pain relief cream, and it smells really good. It has some of those essential oils smells to them. So, and then Sammy, my vitamin C. I'm still taking one chewable a day in the morning until I go see my cardiologist and do tests there, because I got a PET scan and everything like that, just in case. And then I got my omega-3s, and then I got this electrolyte formula. I use this one kind of during the day, but then I use this Perfect Amino one, and you know, it has some more of the more of the other stuff, like the L-methylene and all that. So I mixed that just in water there for a while, because like I said, I had a hard time breathing. So I had the Boost Oxygen. You just put that up to your face and breathe in. That was helping me for a little bit until I started going to the hyperbaric air chamber. And this is the other stuff that I was taking. I don't have to take it anymore. So we're cutting down a little bit. Like I said, the only thing I'm taking right now, prescription-wise, is the Xanax or Alpha-Prazole, Zam, or whatever. All this other stuff is just, it didn't do nothing for me. So anyway, that's my list there, and we'll get back. Another thing I've been, my rant. And another thing I've been using is essential oils to diffuse. Like I said, I got a total mess in here. I'm sorry. I've just been kind of throwing shit around. But yeah, the frankincense, that one seemed to work the best. You know, and then of course lavender. Yeah, peppermint was really good for helping me de-stress and breathe better. Well, anyway, so what I use is Epsom salt for the bath. I got a bath getting started right now. I try to go a little hot, a little warmer, and then, like I said, stand up, take a cold shower while it's draining, and it just resets. It resets my anxiety, my stress. So that's another thing. If it helps you, I really want to thank, you know, Ming, my girlfriend. Long-time girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call her. She's been the best, you know. I really appreciate her. And my mom, you know, really coming out and helping me out. So, and that's another thing you need. You need good people around you to get through this too. So, and they kind of keep me pushing. And like I said, what would you call, how would you say it, like the physical therapist. I've had a really good physical therapist, Sarah. She's really good with me. So that's another thing. You have to find good people, and that was some of the hardest things, was finding good people. You know, that's actually caring and care about you. I went through a lot of different people until I found some really good ones. So I got some really good supportive people, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. So, like I said, that's my routine. We'll get back to my rant. So anyway, I lost. So the major one is I lost my speech. It doesn't look like it now. I'm doing really good. It's about a month later. What is the 27th today of October? And so this happened, yeah, about 4 weeks ago. But I lost my speech. I lost a little bit of vision. You know, but at the time I just lost my speech for about 4 hours. I was just talking like, blah, 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 blah. You know, I couldn't really speak. It started coming back the more I was in the hospital. But turn off the light. Hold on. There we go. That's probably better. And so anyway, so I regained my speech very slowly. It would come back and it disappeared, come and go. I lost the right side of my arm for a little bit, the right side of my leg for a little bit. Wasn't fully paralyzed. Just really hard to move, really weak on this side, super weak. And of course I had chest pain and, you know, through here and then the heart. So luckily my doctor, you know, he's actually a chiropractor / kinesiology that does muscle testing. And like I said, he's known me forever. He can tap in to me and do it from there somehow. Don't ask me how. He's just that good. Like I said, I've been going to him for 40 years. Well, anyway, so he's been giving me a ton of supplements, and I'll probably show you all the supplements that I'm taking. So that really helped. I went and got a EEG with my neurologist. The neurologist just basically gave me some seizure medicine and doing some more tests on me and everything like that. And so now I could barely walk. Like I was like 80 years old with a cane trying to walk. It was really, really hard. Hardest thing I've ever done. I had no muscle, no nothing, and my brain was all messed up. Okay. And so anyway, so they suggested a few medications and everything. None of it really worked. Luckily I knew one of my personal good friends. He's a doctor too, but he does different. He does like the stem cell research and stuff like that. But he referred me over to, and I wanted to do this, and it was just kind of coincidental how it all came together. The hyperbaric air chamber. And so I've been going to Desert Moon Wellness here in Las Vegas. It's really expensive. I mean, it's actually not too bad for what you're getting and your health. Well, I mean, what's your health worth? You know, so I've done 10 sessions in the chamber, which I'll kind of show you. And then I was doing a PEMF mat, and then what they have called is a brain tap that it's like a little, looks like a little headphone, and the little visor comes down, and they talk to you, and they give you speeches on how to develop, you know, or calm down your anxiety and stuff like that. And it's really, really calming, and everything like that. They've been super, super nice there. They've probably saved my life and got me back to where I am. When I was talking to my coworker over the phone and stuff like that, you know, she was like, well, let's just put it this way. Most people thought I was probably going to be permanently disabled. You know, my mom still had faith in me, which was really good, because she came down, really helped me out for a couple of weeks, stuff like that. So after 2 weeks of the hyperbaric air chamber, I started being able to walk again. And you know, I still couldn't drive because, you know, the vision was a little off. So this is like day 16 of being able to walk. And when I mean walk, I mean at least I can walk a couple of miles now. I'm going to physical therapy still, you know, but I'm getting better there too. So the issues I'm having now is anxiety related. I've never been sick. I've never been sick in my life. I mean, I've had flu and cold and that type of BS, but I've never actually been sick to where I, you know, anything major really. So I've had to retrain my brain on the anxiety. Before it was, I never had anxiety, but now I could feel the anxiety in my chest and stuff like that. I could get rid of that. How I got rid of the anxiety in my chest is I do breath work. You know, I just breathe in and I hold for about 4 seconds, breathe out, and I just hold for about 4 seconds, breathe in, you know. So I think they call it 4-4-4 or something like that. And so I'm able to calm that down. They did give me Xanax to help with some things, because some things I still can't quite control. The one I can't control is the anxiety cough. They call it anxiety cough. I just start coughing, and it just feels like I'm not swelling up in the neck, but it just feels like I'm swelling up in the neck. And then I get pressure behind the neck here, and then kind of between the shoulder blades. So I'm finding ways to do that. Cold showers, or if you want to take a cold bath, you know, ice cold plunge, that helps. That resets your vagus nerve. With the breathing one, I have to put my feet in the bottom of the tub with hot water, and then I put a ice pack along my neck right there, and it seems to takes it away. So that way I can try and get off the Xanax. I actually don't take much Xanax, only when needed. So I've taken, you know, the last couple of days I've had to take it a few times more than I have before, because I'm trying to get out and do more stuff, because now I'm getting energy back. I can actually move and go stuff. But I have anxiety with crowds and people, which I've never had before. So I take one of those to try and, you know, go out and do stuff, because I gotta live. I'm going to tell you right now, the doctors, I mean, some of them are very caring, some of them aren't. One doctor kicked me out. Why? Because I was having those spasms. I was just shaking, and it was just, she kicked me out in mid-spasm, and I was trying to tell her what I was going through just to hold me for a little bit until I stopped. Nope. It was horrible. And I was trying to tell her, she just didn't want to listen. So, I'm not gonna lie, so insurance doesn't cover a lot of the other stuff. Of course, they don't cover the co-pays and all that, and so each hospital visit was $350. So there's quite a bit right there, and I've had to buy tons of supplements. Other doctors, they don't take insurances, unfortunately. The real good ones, because insurances they don't recognize them. So, all said and done for this month, I'm about $16,000 in debt. I could have bought a car for that, but like I said, now that I'm starting to recover, I can move. I got function back to my hands. I'm starting to feel really, really great. Mentally, I'm back. I forgot a few names, and I forgot, this is like just an easy example. Like if I'm holding the spoon, I'm like, well, what's the name of this? But I know what the spoon is. But more complicated things, I have a really hard time remembering what that is, but that's okay. My vision is starting to improve a little bit by going to the hyperbaric air chambers. Me getting back to working on the car, because I haven't driven the car in who knows how long. And so I have to get my health back first, and then we'll try and get back to the car when needed. But it was that slow carbon monoxide poisoning, and so now I'm really, really more conscious about it. So if I do pull the car out, when I start it, I'm not going to have it run in the garage at all. I'm going to start it, pull it out, let it run outside, and when I get back in the garage, I'm actually going to buy a couple of fans and just blow it all out, and try and get everything cleared out. So, but we don't know I don't know what's going to happen. Luckily, I had plenty of sick time and annual leave saved up from work. So I'm not really missing any checks, but like I said, it's threw me for a loop, and I hope to get back to work, at least part-time, because I'm still going to have to go through physical therapy, and I got another 20 rounds of the hyperbaric air chamber, which is, like I said, really helping me. That's probably done the most for me mentally right at first. So now that I'm mentally back, now we're doing red light therapy, which is insane. It gives me a ton of energy, but the problem is I overdo myself and it wipes me out. So yeah, that's where I've been. And I talked about when you buy a car to work on and restore. This is a reason why I chose to restore it as running. You can just look at the dust on there. But that way, I know you can go drive it and enjoy it little by little. Because stuff like this happens, or you don't get too financially upside down in the car. Because when you have it all torn apart and you buy all these parts, which I've done before, but it took I don't know how many years to put that damn thing back together. So that's why I went at a different approach with this. Now, if this had a totally rusty frame and bird cage and all, or whatever like that, well, I wouldn't have bought the car in the first place. But if it needed more work than where I had to be frame off, then I probably wouldn't have bought it. Okay, so that's where we're at. Like I said, I'll kind of keep you guys updated. The 15-minute car talk on my other channel, Tyson, you won't see much difference there because he was going on vacation to Europe, and before then we recorded like 5 or 6 out of the gate. So it looks like I've been perfectly fine, but I took a really huge spill, and you know, it's going to take a while for me to get back to being healthy, and like my neighbors are just running there. I can't quite run yet. I can lift, I can move around for about 2.5 hours, but the exercise, I still have to do physical therapy. Hopefully I can get back to work. But I'll tell you what, that okay, so then this is the last part of the story. So I went to my neurologist today, and I haven't seen him in 3 weeks? Because last time they saw me, I was like kind of crippled over and everything. I walk in and they're looking at me and they're like, every one of them, the nurses and the receptionists and the doctor, they're like, what are you doing? What you know, they were amazed at how well I'm moving and I'm functioning. Because before I was shaking like this, you know, and I could barely move. And I'd be like, this is how I'd get up, and I'd kind of just shuffle, you know. And so they were amazed at how clear and everything is, and I'm telling them everything, and they're happy for me, you know. And they're just, but they were all like, man, you look really good. That oxygen therapy really does, it gives you kind of a boost. It does take a few times, you know. What it did for me was get rid of that pressure in my chest first, okay, and then after that I started regaining strength from it, and then now the red light therapy, like I said, man, it just makes me feel superhuman for that little few hours, but then after that you kind of crash. I'm still not 100% strong. I might be able to do a pull-up, maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried yet. Like I said, I'm working with physical therapy on that, so I don't want to. We're just taking it slow, and we're gonna rebuild. But right now, I feel pretty sharp. I still get, like I said, problems with anxiety. I got to figure that out too. I'm getting it under control though. So everybody can do this. If you go through something, you know. You have to do it for yourself though. You have to, unfortunately, you can't rely off the doctors. You just can't be taking medicine, you know, because medicine, it's only there to kind of cover your symptoms, to cover up, you know, to help them a little bit, but it's not going to cure you of it. Some other things I have had to change is my diet. I've had no sugar. Well, there's probably some sugar in some foods. I mean, there's, you know, you can't get rid of completely sugar, but I've cut that out. I bought some Baja Gold sea salt, which tastes amazing. The only reason I bought it is it's full of minerals, and those minerals, you know, you just were lacking, and so I took in you know, I just do a little bit on my salads and steak. You know, I just do a few pinches. It really brings out the flavor. It's a really good sea salt. Oh, and the other thing I have to stay away from is fluoride. Fluoride is really bad, believe it or not, and it's in our water system here. So I'm buying shower heads that have the filters in them. They should be here actually tomorrow, I hope. And, you know, other things like that. You know, I'm not going to drink any tap water anymore. Even when I brush my teeth, I can't use fluoride toothpaste anymore either. I have to stay away from fluoride completely for right now. And that's a neurological thing. and that's going to help with the anxiety and stress. So no fluoride, and then I can't use mouthwash. Mouthwash actually kills some of the good bacteria in the mouth. So, you know, a lot of people, they use too much mouthwash. I never really used a lot of mouthwash to begin with, but just to kind of get that minty feeling. The best thing to do is what they're telling me is to use floss, you know, those floss picks, and that's the best way to, you know, to try and keep your teeth healthy and clean. And then if you just brush without no toothpaste, if you don't have any toothpaste without fluoride in it. So yeah, that's my that's my my adventure. I'm really positive right now. These last 2-3 days, I have felt really good. Like I said, I still can't do a whole lot. I usually, when I get done with therapy, it wipes me out for a couple hours, and you know, I'm still on I still need a lot of rest, but my brain is pretty much back. I wish, in a way, I had video of me before. That way you could see how bad I really was. When it was really bad, like I said, I was laying in there in the hospital, and I started shaking, you know, and all of a sudden I just stopped. I was just whole paralyzed, you know, for about a minute, and I stopped breathing for about 15-20 seconds, but it was just, you know, like I couldn't control it. And then my brain took over, and I started seeing white in my eyes. Just I don't know what it was. It just like, because I couldn't control anything, and it's just like, I thought I was going to go brain dead or die or whatever. And then I guess my subconscious kicked in, and I started breathing again. It took about, I don't know, about, like I said, 2 minutes for me to start moving again, just barely, you know. But I was like, wow, it was intense. So with the carbon monoxide, okay, so another thing, these were low level. The stove was putting out low level. I got carbon monoxide detectors. I even tested it out, okay, because they have numbers on them, and they only go off when there's a certain amount, you know, when it becomes an unsafe amount. But if it's still circulating in the house, these other carbon monoxide detectors, because they don't have the numbers on them, you know, they will not go off until it's a high level. So if you're just recirculating that carbon monoxide and it's just low level, you know, you're slowly poisoning yourself. Yeah, so I got the one that actually shows the decibels, because I think it's like, I don't know, I have to look it up, but I think it's like 7 parts per million or whatever, then it goes off, or whatever it is. But most carbon monoxide detectors will not go off. Even these ones won't go off until it hits a certain number. Okay, but at least it's right next to the oven. I got them in every room. I could see the number and everything like that. You know, it went off one time when my girl was spraying her hair with hairspray, and you know, it scared her. She's like, "What's that noise? What's it telling me?" And so I'm like, "Look, whatever's in that hairspray, not good," you know. So changing my lifestyle and eating too. Like I said, no sugar. I don't even want it. And I just want the whole foods and stuff like that. So anyway, I've talked long enough. But yeah, this is my new adventure for a little bit. The car's still here. We'll see. Like I said, I've spent a ton of money, and I'm gonna have to spend a ton of money more just on my health. And you know, it's going to be really, really tough to do anything on my car because you need money to work on the car. So, with that being said, you know, I'll still try to do car shows, and you know, go see that type of stuff and everything. And I'm gonna get better, and then we're gonna get back to this car. You know, if it gets too financially bad, then maybe I'll have to sell it. I don't know. We'll see. As of right now, I'm gonna try my best to like get by and everything, but it's gonna be a while because I got to pay down these bills. So that's all I got. And you know what? Thank you for sticking around. And I'm sorry I haven't updated anything. You know, I've really, really tried my best to get this far, and people are actually pretty amazed at how quick I'm recovering. Because, like I said, I went through 9 mini strokes, if you want to call them, or stroke-like symptoms, and all within about a month ago. Thanks, guys.